Okay, here we go. The video for April the 14th, 2017 is entitled Yosan Pedro, New Age, or New Earth rather, Trajectory. And Yosan is from the great country of Israel, and this will be our first video together. We've been chatting a little bit before we started the recording, and he's involved in a lot of metaphysical things and yoga and other things. And I'm going to let him just start a conversation here, and we'll be talking together for about the next approximately a half an hour, and we'll see how it goes. Yosan, talk to the people.
Okay. Hello to everybody. I think I met Ron when we were 17, spiritually. I don't know on which plans, but I'm trying to recover the difference, the gap of time, because at that time we had our minds less occupied with politics, less occupied with destruction. And the mission that we came here maybe was to experience a new earth, an earth that is saved from all the past horrors, from the wars, from the conflicts. But unfortunately, what we have experienced since is the other way around. I'm in Israel, so all of you know what has been going on in Israel. And not only that my trajectory with which I came here, which is living indefinitely and forever, with all what it means, not only in time, but in meaning. So life was squeezed into a box of time, and love was squeezed into the impossible. You couldn't, attain and reach anything here with just very little time and very little possibilities, in fact. So I was put into the Israeli army, and I served in the army 3 years, and then 18 years further with reserves. So I'm an Israeli veteran, you can say. I was never a fighter. I was not involved in war or anything, but I was close enough to experience it. And as a person who was born from within a very cultured family of poets and architects and musicians, I'm myself a painter, an artistic art painting.
Do you play any musical instruments? You said musicians.
Yeah, I play music. We just writing a song for the New Earth, in fact, in Hebrew. We translated it from Spanish. So I can sing the song on another occasion. We are singing it together with the children in the children garden, because we are having a children garden that we are connected with. So it's very nice.
I noticed you have a nice view and you're not far from the water, just like I'm not far from the water as well.
Yeah, this place that I live now is just a coincidence. I was invited 3 months ago to a place that I once was in here in a vacation in the army. We had 1 week of relief. So we had they had a kind of hotel here for soldiers, and I spent here a week, which I can't forget. It was one of the best weeks of my life.
Good.
Yeah, so the water is just 10 minutes walk on the dunes. Only they built huge buildings here with tenants that look pretty bad. So I wanted to go back to the trajectory.
Right, yes, we need to, you need to help me stay on topic, and I'll try to help you stay on topic too. So we won't veer too far away.
Sample how I'm floating and taking my head out of the water. But it's in fact, the trajectory includes the part and how you stop, how we looking at forward to all this system that built here, use the artificial chemicals, materials, and metal, all kind of variety of chemicals and metals to produce this huge world that they called world. And now my trajectory, the trajectory must also include the ending of this, of their trajectory. Because what they're having in their trajectory is just more poisoning.
And more and more disease and everything.
Yeah, and they are excusing it. They're coming forward with plans. Like yesterday, I saw a video where they're showing a new invention, and a kind of floating balloon, which will measure the influence of the spraying. But they do aerosol in the air, so they will be able to measure the effect, the result of the spraying. But they better go to hospital and to graveyard to see the result. They don't have a balloon, need a balloon in the air. The results are very obvious.
Yeah. So I noticed that in our discussion before we started the camera rolling, that you said you expect the transition or the change to happen very quickly, and at the most 2 or 3 days. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, without much thinking about it at the moment, because it would take me big sleeps to get into it in a moment. So just repeating what I wrote. But the idea is like a body that has suffered deterioration as disease for long enough. At one moment, it will collapse. So there's a moment where it's not a continual deterioration, but at one moment, a plant that I have here that have not grown well or something disturbed him, at one moment he will die. In one moment it will die. So my trajectory is that at one moment, this whole system, this whole spiritual creation that is false, that is the cabal made, that is empty, that is not giving anybody nothing, just taking energy from people and using their energy for whatever. So this whole system that they built here in my trajectory, and which I'm also suggesting to others to hold on to, is where this body, the spiritual body that is so bad and sick, it's inner disease, it's an inner disease to live on somebody, to be a parasite on everybody. So this terrible creature, and they are creature here, so they have a body or a spiritual body, at least, who are containing this, or are creating this. And this is not a result of an education. It's a natural phenomenon with beings or creatures that are born with what I call evil creatures, and there are its effect. It's not.
It's definitely diabolical.
Yeah, you can call it whatever, but the fact is that it is an organism that it's creating it. It's not just philosophical or spiritual or whatever. It is an organism that is evil. I mean, some people met somebody who was mostly evil. Maybe they would can connect because evil people like Hitler was an evil people, Stalin or Saddam Hussein, they are famous, but they are all also walking among us. You would not know who is evil, who is not, if you don't feel his aura, his projection, his body manifestation, his spiritual qualities, if you can identify the spiritual quality of evil, so you will know how it is created. And the biggest figures who are maintaining this hell here are figures like this. It's just a takeover of this individual beings. It's not just a spiritual field, but also created by organisms. So this must be put into the perspective when you think about it. But eventually, them too, physically, they will break, because there is a resistance from us. There is, we are not in consent. We reject the fact that they are living on us, that they are parasites on us, you know. We reject it. So it's like the moment the rejection works, that is that they cannot take of our energy. And I think that is first step for us to.
Well, that's certainly been happening for some time. It's not an instantaneous change or shift, but humanity is slowly but surely waking up. And the numbers of the people that are aware that we've been lied to for a long time is definitely growing.
Yeah, but there is this group. You see that there's a group that is more dedicated to it, say from birth or from a certain age, or they can even join now and call them what you call them. Some people call them the 144,000 people who have awakened to fight, and they are representing humanity on behalf of everybody, so that, how we call it, the subject, the Earth's trajectory. So they are ready to, they are more ready than anybody, those who are looking, you know, from that perspective, they are more ready to start project a new Earth. So first of all, that we see the system falling down, that is organic organism that lose their capacity to continue here. Their spiritual influence stopped.
Okay,
One day,
well, I mean, that certainly has to happen.
yeah, so at one moment, everything stops. So this part of the trajectory, and it can happen every day. It's not happening in 17 or happening in another date. It's just happening when it's happening, because it is a spiritual quality that is more important than the date, you know. Because what happens when you don't have this influence on you, what happens is you open up to everything that is around you. You open up to paying attention to the impression that other organic, beautiful plants or people can have on you. You're quiet. You don't have pressure. So to have lesser pressure, we take the trajectory further, looking further to a world where you've learned to tell your innate body to keep you growing, not to stop your growth when you are 17 or 18 and turn you old. So the innate, if somebody heard Cry on messages lately, he's talking a lot about the innate, and now to re-educate and show the innate how to regain the ability, how to show the body to come back to the ability to show the innate how to support a body that is growing, that is constantly growing, and growth is an evolution. Inside evolution, the body of a child that was just able to do certain things, and he can do more things, and then he grows and it grows indefinitely. So every emotion that you have, every love story that you have, is still growing. There's no end to a love story. I can tell you that. There's no end to love story. It continues forever. And I can make a program about regression, life regression, and progressive. Where is it going after you have awakened, and what projection do you have with a loved one when everything is possible now?
So you do future life progressions instead of past life regressions then, huh?
Right, right. but yes, but when you look at it from after the tragedy happened, because the tragedy happened when you separated from your loved ones. So the tragedy is so immense. But when the whole condition of the life has changed to where everything is open indefinitely, then you can reconsider what you want to do with the loved ones. What can you do with a loved one? What is it? And it's taken a lot of uh, acknowledgement of how you feel, because the feeling that once were love and just trying to connect and be together, now it's available. So it become available indefinitely. No, so this notion that it is available indefinitely, it changes the whole rule. The whole map is changing because of that.
Yeah, so I noticed earlier when we were talking that you're obviously there with your wife, and so you have something that I don't have. You actually have a living relationship with another human being on a more intimate level, which is really that sort of gives you a stability that I still don't have in my personal experience.
Yeah, I say, but also add to it that that my relationship with this beautiful lady here is based on that we both have passed to the new earth consciousness before we met. It's not a relationship type relationship that people would want. Naturally, they will want something that resonates with them on a how you call it. When you have something familiar, you know, like a karmic. It's not a karmic. What we met is not a karmic level. We met on a new earth level. That is, we both dedicated to the new earth, both in each of us in person.
Well, I like that. I mean, that's one of the things that I liked about your topic that you were going to talk about, projecting the new earth into our conscious reality.
Right. So, when you are, you passed everything, and you lost everything, and you lost dear people to you, and you are tracking eventually how it happened that you lost them. You find the hands of the cabal interfering in your life. You find that it didn't just got sick, it didn't just lost a friend. There's a trajectory of the cabal for every individual. There is a number marked on everybody's hand, like in a Nazi time, they have you numbered and they have you projected on their screens, and they can also take care of your mind, that you will look at the trajectory that they have created for you. And this is what's happening with Trump today. This is what they are fighting with, the trajectory that is put in front of their faces, that that cabal is creating this trajectory, and they have the technology, and they have this technology for a long time to create a trajectory for individuals. What is a trajectory is what your aims are, what you're looking forward to. They can create a trajectory for people to look forward for a grave, for a nice grave with a stone, you know.
What a trajectory! It's not one that's mine. I want to live and see humanity uplifted.
Yeah, so to uplift, like with a wave, there are two waves with the trajectory, really. Like somebody who's swimming in the sea, if you see a big wave coming to you, which say this wave is the influence of the cabal or whatever it is, then the best way to go through the wave is to jump straight in with your head straight into the wave. If you are a seaman, which I'm a skipper, forgive me to miss that, but when you go with a boat straight into the wave, straight into the wind, you are less affected. You just go straight it, or unless you can jump upon it, above it. So we are in between, talking to people who have issues in front of them, and they see if you take it emotionally, what they're projecting to you, and you go straight with your head through it. You say, "I'm going to." Whatever, you don't need words here. Just go direct your body to go straight head into, you have a headache, go straight into the center of the headache. You have a pain, go straight into the pain and feel it, be the center of it. So
that's very opposite from the way most people react to uncomfortable things in their lives. Most people try to avoid and dull the pain and rather go right into it. I've learned that with my heart attacks, by the way. It frightened me at first, but now I just breathe into it and it goes away. You know, it might be very intense initially, but it doesn't last. If you just stay with it, you dissipate it.
Oh, I'm so happy. I can't imagine, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is advice for everybody. But then if you have learned, if you gain the certainty that hard things, even the cabal or the monsters that you have here, there are phenomena, conscious phenomena, and you are going through them with your head straight. So eventually you gain the certainty that it can be handled, that you're not going to be subject to it. But so then to go above it, really, what happens is when you become a poet, you know, in the old times, people that who have risen above the system that is, they just became strange poets and they wrote all kind of beautiful poetry. So art, when you are dealing with art, you have a means to play with the emotions, because you project something on, say, a piece of paper, and then you look at it, and then you project on the thing that you have put on the paper, and then reproject on it. So you have a layers of projections, which evolves to where you are dealing with it from a very different height now.
Yeah, well, I like the vision that you have of creating a new Earth. Of course, it's been my vision also for a long time. But you see it again. I think we probably already said this, I don't know, in the recorded conversation, but I know we said it in the total conversation, that it's going to happen. The whole change, the shift is going to be quick. It's not going to be prolonged over lifetimes or even years. It's going to be
so now take the projection, change a little bit, and look at the time that we are in now as a river, and now in the end of the change that is going to last maybe 1, 2, 3 days, 2, 3 weeks. That's all of it. As fast as you can, see the other side of the other bank of the river, and you start to see what's you're going to do on the other side of the bank of the river, what you're going to do personally, and what the earth is going to look like on the other side of the river. So we are taking our trajectory to the other side, in this sense. And what we want, and I wrote some stuff down, so I suggest people will think about it seriously. For example, we want a clear blue sky with bright sky. We don't want
more chemtrails.
No more chemtrails, bright. So this is the first thing that that we want. And then second, we want that transition will go pleasantly with us. Not only pleasantly, but on the other side, we're going to enjoy life how you call it, when you eat very well and you enjoy the food, you know, that life become tasty, that all the feelings, all the things that will relate to you, and you will feel them to a level that you can, because it must be pleasant, you know. You must have a sensation of the food, of the plants, of the people. You must enjoy the people that are here, you know. And the weather and so on. The sun will be bright, sky is going to be blue, no interference whatsoever, everything is quiet. So quietness is a good quality. Then that we will lose the the taps, you know, the how you call it, something, a cop. A cop is having something close, you know, so we will lose and we'll start to laugh, that we'll recover our ability to laugh. Everything will be funny, you know, everything will be
Wow.
happy. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just making a list for people to catch on to, and I also wrote it here, you know, in Hebrew. This is what Hebrew looks like, and the people are invited to add to it, because trajectory is built together. We have 144,000, and there may be more trajectory projecting together. So this, whatever they project, is helpful. So that none of the cabal plan will come into being. Not their geoengineering and food control, the pharmaceutical companies, the water poisoning, and all this teaching that they have in university now. You know, people learn how to do all this
It's disinformation. I mean, yeah, it's definitely programmed.
So all of it will stop. That will not have the support, the finance to have this universities teaching on engineering, how to do all these terrible things. You know, that they won't have the budgets to do it. There won't be budget at all. Maybe. So
that would be a leap.
Another thing that is very important, that we must know, that there are angels that are taking care of us if we ask them to take care of us. So the more you ask for the angel, the more you turn to the angels and tell them, look what I'm doing now with Ron. Look what I'm doing now with Ron. Help us to manifest the good things that we want, you know. Be here and help us, you know. The people can also try to connect to the angels. And to human trafficking and children.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, this must go away. And they yeah, so, and eventually the list can go on and on, but
oh yes, of course.
Most importantly is that people will learn to practice this trajectory, that they be trusting their ability, because it's an inner ability to copy into what the news tell you. It's the same inner ability is to create yourself a new reality. Is the same field of work, of inner work. If you want to shift from the troubles, you can do it. Just decide to shift, take a piece of paper and or a video, or talk to us. We can make a group meeting maybe about it, or add more people.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a lot of there already are a lot of changes that are coming as people are waking up, and I see the sun is just, I can see the glow of the sun just starting to come up over the horizon, out over the ocean there, which is a beautiful view. But when the sun actually rises above the tree line and stuff, it's blinding.
Yeah, I wanted to because what you are seeing, the sun rising, have a spiritual quality that is also, I think, related to the fact that we met and we started eventually to record a meeting like this. Because as I said, this meeting started maybe 400 years ago. In the castle of the Queen of Holland. So, and there is a story that lingers from there to Christ as well, because Christ is taking care of our group. This is my personal belief. I woken up to Christ. I'm not going to open the story now, but
no, we were pretty much out of time for this video.
So I'm saying that to take this, I take your sun rising as you're seeing it now as a sign, as a blessing for we doing the good thing, the right thing, you know, that we are meant to do.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for taking the time to chat with us, and we'll do more videos in the future. I'm going to be trying to make videos. I'd like to get to where half of my videos are just me, and the other half are with someone else. So that's the plan for the future, and I'm still developing how to make that work in the reality. So anyway, Yosan, thank you for taking time to chat with us, and may all of us have a vision of a better world and help bring that vision into manifestation.
Yeah, so be it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Namaste.